Now, Dr. Bira Barra, a lecturer in the Faculty of Law, University of Port Harcourt, spoke on whether the inquiry is being delayed because of the role the governor played as accountant general in the past government.
And the governor himself responded and said, "Don't worry about me. I know what I'm saying. I was keeping my records straight. I have all the records." So he told us to. So let's wait if that is actually the case or not. He said his records are straight. Even if he served in that administration and he was in the position where money could have approvals and other things could have passed through him, that he was a very meticulous person. He was keeping his records intact. So let's see if he will be able to prove that.
Okay. So one of the many questions I'm hoping we can get answers to is what happened to the Rivers State government's probe of past administrations. Here we are again, at the risk of sounding like a broken record because you've heard this many times. But these are conversations that need to be sustained because if we don't fix what is leaking, we can't get more into whatever container. But let's look at corruption investigations. We have learned from history, culture, and character that politicians, government officials, and people in power, now this is not an absolute statement, but a majority have played along to this statement. They do not probe their friends or allies. The grievances stem from the opposition's capture of power. So let's say whoever is in power is of the PDP or Party A. And the next government is from another party. As you can tell, based on division along party lines, they are not friends. So the new government claims that they will probe the past government. Sometimes it's a case of friends turning enemies, like it's happening in Rivers State. So whenever you hear that there will be a probe, it's one of many reasons. The current government is not friendly with that government, or the corruption is so loud that you cannot ignore it. We live in a country where public officials boldly say on public platforms that if you cross carpet, if you defect and come to our side, all your sins will be forgiven. Those are not my words. In 2019, while campaigning for Buhari's re-election, the then APC chairman, Adams Oshiomhole, said clearly, boldly, if you join the APC, your sins will be forgiven. The big question is, what sins? Well, I'm not sure, but let's hear it directly from him.
But I'm told there are a lot of very, very senior people from PDP who have decided to join forces with President Buhari to take the broom to sweep away PDP and to continue to ensure that APC is going to preside all over Nigeria. And in fact, once you have joined APC, all your sins are forgiven.
You heard the man. And I remember there were raging debates connected to this statement at the time. Oshiomhole actually granted another interview stating, no, he didn't say that. That's not what he meant. But Nigerians understood very clearly. So if you have a political system, structure that is run by shared interest, where time and time again people have gotten away with allegations of corruption to the highest level, simply because the person in power was a friend or an ally, you can imagine why the answer to these questions are important. But let's look at what makes up a corruption probe. First is the announcement. The governor, the Senate, whoever wants to institute the probe says, we are going to probe the $1.5 billion that was given to fix the refinery, or the $9 billion that was injected into the power sector, or the administration of this. It's first an announcement, right? The next thing is the setup of an investigative panel. We're setting up a 7-man panel, a 21-man panel, a 10-man, whatever. The next is that millions are allocated for that probe. The probe will cost us 10 million, 15 million. Sitting allowances are given to the members of that panel. So this means that it costs money to discover stolen money. And this is the craziest part. Many of the high-profile corruption cases involving top politicians mostly go unresolved, which means in many cases it ends at that announcement. In other cases, the probe is actually initiated but never completed. It is so bad. Now, I want you to get this figure because these are alarming rates. Only 3 out of 614 public probes conducted since 1999 were concluded. That's less than 1%. Now, this is according to a report. I'm going to publish a report shortly. So when next you hear someone say we are going to probe, the average Nigerian takes it with a pinch of salt. Not because we don't want to recover our stolen money, but our history with probes, not a good one. So my questions this morning, and I have a lot of them. You're not in position to answer the first one because that goes to the state government. What happened to the probe of past administrations? Should there be a deadline for corruption investigations? Since now we are saying, well, the governor did not give a time frame. He said he will, but he didn't say when. Should we have a mandate to probe every outgoing government? I have a break coming up. I believe I might be able to ask the third one after that break. But let's see, I can squeeze in one call. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. We're live on Facebook and Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. Watch, listen, and drop your comment. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Sam.
Good morning. What's your name?
Justice Ori Mamudioga.
Go ahead, Justice.
Yes, there should be a timeline when it comes to probing, and probing.
Okay.
In law, after election, there is a timeline to when election matters can be filed. If it can be done like that, then in probing corrupt leaders, there should also be timeline. See, the reason why most leaders, especially politicians, allegedly loot funds is that they are being allowed to go free. Government brings money to local government, to state, ministers and commissioners to do projects. At the end of the day, the people they represent still suffer. Where are this money going to? See, we need to be very specific. We need to be up and doing when it comes to probing. Because when we do it, it will make other people to sit up.
Okay.
That should be a timeline.
stating that the delay by the Rivers State governor to set up a panel to probe past government shows that the governor, Sim Fubara, only made a political statement. And in that sound, you also heard that if he goes ahead to probe that government, he will be implicated. But there are people with dissenting views to that. But I'm concerned about our culture of investigating corruption. As I said earlier, a report, now I have that, it's on different platforms, but this is from the Vanguard. The report is by the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity. It has revealed that only 3 out of 614 investigative probes related to corruption have been concluded. I need you to get this clearly. Not only 3 have been started. Many have started, but only 3 have been concluded since 1999. That is beyond poor. It's less than 1%. So that tells you that this basket, no, not even basket, this container is leaking. So my questions, should there be a deadline? Because one of the many defenses to what the political analyst said is that, well, the governor did not give a deadline. He didn't say it was starting now and ending then. Should there be a deadline for corruption investigations? Secondly, I want you to remember the code of conduct, borough. One of the many things they do is asset declaration. Do you remember? Now, according to the Code of Conduct Tribunal, every public officer is required by law to declare his or her assets and liabilities, 1, on assumption of office, 2, at the end of their office, 3, at interval of 4 years for public officers on continuous employment of government, whether federal, state, or local government. So when a governor does 1 term and is going for re-election, he or she would declare again. And public officers, every 4 years. And 4, at such other intervals as the borough may determine from time to time. So the CCB might just stand up and say, you know what, Samara Kuchinedu, it don't take where you declare assets. Let's do it. Now the question following this is, did your governor, your local government chairman, declare their assets on assumption and end of their office? This is a new government for many states. The governor who left, did he declare assets when he was getting in and when he was leaving? You would answer for your own state, your local government, and your public official. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. We're live on Facebook and Twitter at Nigeria InfoPH. Hello, good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Greetings from Eche to you.
Greetings from the studio.
Look, I'm from Eche.
Go ahead.
Yes, this is funny because why it is funny is that even now that our governor, when he was sworn in, we didn't even hear him say, I declare my asset. Even the local government caretakers, even the local government chairmen, all those things does not work. Had it been all those things are working, it would have helped this our democracy. We will know how much that our governor that has or our local government chairmen, even though when they are leaving, we will know their assets. But it will just merely on just maybe newspaper and the other rest. But I want to say that if really we can still go back in them declaring their assets, it will be a very good one. On the statement by Chief Zonyamasila, for me, that statement is purely political from the governor. Because if it is not political, why even up till now, there's nothing even to show that the previous administration is about to be probed. And remember, probing how will it work? You are Cadet General, and you are aware too during election There was a series of allegations against the sitting governor today that the money was withdrawn at the counter, and even up to today, nothing has happened about that money, about that allegation. So how is it going to work? How is it going to probe the government that himself is a member or is an insider? For me, all those things are just a mere political statement. But I want to say that if really it's not a political statement, now we are charging the governor now to please start the probing if it is not political.
All right. Thank you very much, Elder Lugoman. Over to Facebook. Mark Bethel says, probe or no probe, the people know that Nigerian politicians are corrupt and cannot be exonerated from financial misappropriation. Unfortunately, our judiciary and some security agencies do not keep to the oath of integrity just to get a share from anyone fingered to investigation and probe. The governor should save his energy and concentrate on good governance. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Sam.
Good morning.
My name is David West.
Go ahead, David.
And I'm calling you from the city of Yenegua.
All right.
As a matter of fact, the schedule you have just read from the ground norm, that is the 1999 Constitution as amended, sincerely speaking, has been flagrantly disobeyed, particularly government at the state level and at the local government level. I ask a simple question. The immediate past local government chairman of Rivers State, did they come back or did the CCB tell us the asset they declared? Did we verify it? As a people, we are also docile or nonchalant about it. We do not ask questions. We do not interrogate these issues. On the other side of the comment made by you just played, I think the governor, in my humble opinion, with profound respect, is not very serious with anything like investigation of past administration, because it will also rope him in. His Excellency today sets up a panel to investigate the administration of the former governor, E.M. which he was the accountant general as far as I'm concerned. He will not also escape it, undermining the fact that Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution as amended has already shielded him from further investigation. But he himself will not be far away from being investigated in any allegations raised. So in that guise, I do not think any panel or any investigation will see any headway or any insight will come to play.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is David West.
Thank you very much, David. JJ calls from Rumigbo. Good morning, JJ.
Andrew, good morning. Sorry, Sam, good morning.
You will be investigated, probed.
The first question I want to ask, even though I expect you to answer, whose responsibility to make sure people declare their assets?
Code of Conduct.
I remember during Buhari, where he talked about declaring his asset publicly in the first tenure, even his deputy refused to declare. The only governor who I remember that had declared his asset publicly was Oyo State Governor, the present Oyo State Governor, in his first tenure. I think he said he had assets of over 65 billion and all those put together.
Yeah,
but those who are afraid, the governor will indict himself. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The former governor took the Chubike Amici administration. They even argued up to Supreme Court and all those. They said, you can do that. I think our governor is not somebody that just come and talk. He has calculated everything. After all, Sam, let me ask you this question. You can answer. When we talk about electricity in this country, we were told, and we have the record, that Obasanjo administration $16.5 billion on electricity, yet we don't have council. Who was Minister for Energy or whatever power then? Do we mention his name? The box top at the governor's table as at that time be him accountant general or be this, so doesn't even count at all. So as far as I'm concerned, I think the probe will still go on whether we like it or not. Since there is no time frame, let the governor take his time and the probe so that those who have been eating our rice and gari inside that gari bag, you have the governor when he was commissioning the road in Element.
Okay.
Now, Tata is now said for that rat that.
Oh my. All right, thank you very much, JJ. Gloria calls from Odili Road. Good morning, Gloria.
Good morning, Andrew.
It's Sam. Morning.
Okay, Sam, good morning.
Morning.
Okay, I heard people say that the governor will not probe or maybe do any probe. Me, for my own opinion, this governor knows what he is doing. There is nobody that will sharp a knife and give to his enemy to cut his neck. Before he said he has documents, he has already said it. He said he had all the documents. And mind you, this governor, out of when he was the accountant general, he doesn't have power on his own to spend money. Any money he spent was being spent by the governor, by the previous governor. So why are people saying that that he won't do anything? He will prove, because he said he has every document, every record. So did you think if this current governor has something that will indict him, he will come up to the public and say he's going to probe the previous government? It's a big lie. He is going to probe, and it will not affect him. It will not indict him in any way.
All right.
It will not indict him in any way.
Thank you very much, Gloria. George calls from Buguma. Good morning, George.
Yes, Oracle. Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Indeed, the subject matter is very interesting.
Indeed.
My brother, even in America, I love the American system that you can just cite the account of the President of America. It is very open to all citizens of America. Now, tell me if such is apply here under the Constitution that governs the country, my brother, it will serve us better. But you look at the lacuna of the Constitution of Nigeria, a military constitution that is lopsided in nature. Look at it very well. The Constitution is not working effectively to serve us. If it is serving us effectively, it would have changed so many narratives in this country. My brother, I'm telling you. So that is that. Now, when it comes to people say the governor will not probe, my brother, that is a big lie. The governor can probe when the time comes. And let me tell anyone who cares to listen that there is no timetable that is set aside for governor to probe any when he wants to probe. He can just come up anytime. And let me also tell you that while he was the accountant general, he is not the final arbiter to the finance and the transaction of money in the state. I am telling you that everything he does, it comes by the order of the executive governor of the state. Okay. And he said he has all documents in his coffers, that when the time comes, it will be presented accordingly.
Okay,
so
George.
Why is people thinking that he cannot do the needful?
I have a feeling that if your voice isn't raised, I will still hear you and understand the point you're making. Secondly, the fact that you're not satisfied with the constitution you think is dysfunctional does not make it a military constitution. I've said it many times and I'm going to say it again. It's important that you watch the words you use in airing your grievance. Very important. All right, I'll be going back to the phone line shortly. Remember the questions. Yes, while you're responding to the conversation, it's important you give answers to the specific questions. Should there be a deadline for corruption investigation? That's the first one. Did your governor or local government chairman, elected official, whoever they may be, declare their assets on assumption of office and the end of their office? And I'm asking this question in line with the provisions of the CCB, which states every public officer is required by law to declare assets at intervals. All right, Sonia Aizigogo on Facebook says, good question. Wanchuku Chinedu says, good morning. To me, there's no deadline for corruption investigation because most of the so-called governors are corrupt. Let me use Abia as a case study where previous administration under Okezie Ikpeazu really dealt and looted and mismanaged Abia's funds. Lawrence Friday said, should there be a deadline? But my question is, what comes after the investigations? Which person in the country can we point at that he or she went to prison because of corruption? Well, there was. It's just that they got pardoned. Leighton Barry from Bori calls. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam Oracle.
Good morning.
Yeah. My concern in this matter is that we are not really serious for governance. And we are not really serious to take governance serious. Because all these things are what is embedded in the Constitution to be carried out, that someone needs to be investigated if you've occupied a public office. I think, even to the extent that there is an organized sector in government that takes care of investigating crime at whatever level, mostly when it comes to the public servants. But you can see that those sectors compromise and leave their responsibilities to be used by governors. So in this case, it will be difficult, if not, to be very candid and sincere. 6 months before the expiration of every government, start investigation before your tenure elapses. Ensure that before you drop your leadership, you are taken to the court or you are seen to be free from corruption. But in this case, what happened? Nothing like that happened. So taking that into cognizance will determine more time and energy fight to ensure that these things is put in place adequately. So it is we the people. But let me ask one thing. Now that people want to protest and the court, they will say court has declared that you should stand up, don't protest. You should go at a particular place as if you are doing crusade to stand and be talking to yourself, whereby protest is supposed to be on the street where you raise placards, showing off your grievances, putting your demand before the people and the government to see that this is why you are angry. How do we be able to project this thing so that law can take its place when a public servant is corrupt? So until when we realize this fact, that the court do not need to stand against the people when the people are angry. Mostly when there is hungry, when there is corruption, and the people are standing up to say, we don't agree this, then the court will tell us you don't have any stand to stand against anybody.
Thank you, Leighton Barry. I have lots of comments and calls to take. There's an interesting comment here from Priye. He says, while working for the government when Buhari was president, I recall how every civil servant and public official was harassed to fill the asset declaration form. It seems these things, stuff like this, was subsequently ignored. Interesting. Ken from Ubimini. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
Good morning.
SOC.
Good morning.
SOC, I think the last time I checked, since immediately the military handed over to the civilians since 1999, that is when we stopped to hear something serious concerning probing. Since 1999 to date, no president has been probed. Any of the governors are not serious. Any of the chairmen and other governmental office holders. Now, if I should go by your question, I think before anyone should see the flag of his or her party in his or her hand, should be preparing for his or her assets, so that immediately the person won his or her elections, the asset will be looking into, and not after 1 week or 2 weeks, as some politicians does, where they will use the immediate, what they call wardrobe allowance, to sponsor the probing, as it will not work, to forfeit anything concerning the probing exercise. So if you ask me, we should use this probing issue as an important issue. If the probing issue should be reviewed again in Nigeria Constitution,
all right,
because this is where we will get our mystery, stealing, and the misappropriation of bills and expenditure in this our country.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Politicians.
Thank you very much. But point of correction, since 1999, there have been over 600 probes. Over 600. And the report I quoted earlier states that only 3 have been concluded. So yes, we've had investigations, we've had probes, we've had panels. Unfortunately, we've not seen the finish line. Miriam from Akrika, good morning.
Hi, Sam, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, I think just you clearly stated that country has a body that's supposed to check our leaders before they come into power and when they leave. And I think a time limit is set for that body, but not for a governor who wants to take up the responsibility of that body, you know. And for a governor that wants to do that, you can't give him a time, you know, that you must do it between this time and between it. If you don't do it between now and now, then forget about it. No,
okay, Miriam.
Time should not be given.
Sorry, I know that you have a lot to say, but let me ask you very quickly. Let's say, for example, that we have an investigation pending from 1999 and it's not been concluded till now. Would you not advise that there is a deadline to such an investigation?
Because there is a body that is constituted to take up that responsibility, so there should be a time limit. The governor wants to do this job for this body that has failed in their responsibility. So nobody should set a time for the governor. Thank you, Sam.
Okay, thank you very much. So she says, for the governor in particular, no deadline is required. Let's see. Can I do justice to WhatsApp? Lukman Lasisi says, a country where probe is seen as witch hunting, it is corruption itself. And Divine Bomb says, my brother, nobody is probing anyone. If Governor Sims tries to probe, his name will enter. Oh my goodness, this was difficult to read. But thank you very much. Are we expecting Sim to probe Wike? It will not work. Why do you think that the former governor was fighting hard to install a successor? It's for most of his deeds to be covered. Okay. And that is from Ferdinand Wodo. Let's see, do we have anything on WhatsApp before we wrap up? To ensure accountability and transparency in the system, every former office holder, including the former governor of Rivers State, should be probed if you want to get it right. Adams Friday Lawrence from Andoni says. Good morning. The probe of the former administration is not supposed to take much time because Governor Sim was a state accountant general, so I believe that he knows everything that happened in that administration financially. I believe there's no way the governor would not be involved one way or the other. That's from Roundface from Rumekini. I think I want to leave you with this as my final thoughts on this subject.
But I'm told there are a lot of very, very senior people from PDP who have decided to join forces with President Buhari to take the broom to sweep away PDP and to continue to ensure that APC going to preside all over Nigeria. And in fact, once you have joined APC, all your sins are forgiven.
All right. If we don't fight corruption, it's going to kill us. I can tell you that for free. Thanks for being a part of Morning Crossfire. This is where it wraps up. Before I leave, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to one of the most beautiful people I know. Her name is Fortune Chinedu. She happens to be a sibling. She's one of the best broadcasters you've ever seen or heard. Have a wonderful day.
Stay with us. Nigeria Info.